6:31, so we're going to start. If you wouldn't mind taking one, passing it down. We're going to look at reading tablature today. How many of you know how to read tab?
I've done it before.
Okay.
It's been a while.
Okay, good. It's easy, super easy, and it's something you can teach anybody if they have a basic understanding of the fact that guitar has frets and strings to do. I used to kind of be a music snob when I was in university, and I would say, you can't read tablature, what's that? You're supposed to read notes. And then I found out that Bach used tablature, and I was like, oh, I guess it must be. And I matured maybe just a little bit. Basically tablature, not just on a guitar, but other string instruments. There's even a form of organ tablature, apparently. But all tablature basically is a direct visual of the instrument you're playing. So it's not like music in that you have 5 lines of music and then spaces in between those lines. And guitar reads in treble clef, but a lot of other instruments also read in treble clef. And so this is each line, you'll see there's 6 of them, and each one of those lines represents a string. And then you'll see a bunch of numbers. Well, those numbers just represent a fret. So if it's a 0, that simply means an open string. So no fingers down. And that's really it. That's all there is to understanding it. The one little thing that confuses people is it's as if you're looking at the guitar like this. So your bass strings, these top strings, are actually on the bottom when you're reading. Okay, so that can take a little while to get used to. Most people, when they're first starting to read tablature, kind of want to read it as if it's mirroring you, but it's actually inverted. So that's it. So I'm going to play the first little bit. You guys can follow along. I'll play it really slow, and you'll probably recognize it. So this first 0, and all you do is you just read it as if you're reading words. You read it left to right. So the notes you play first are furthest left, and then you just keep tracking. So that first 0 is this D. Okay? And then you have another 0. Okay? And then you have 2 on the G string. The next 1, 2, 3, 4 notes are all on the G strings. 2. Sorry. Again. 3, 5, 3. D. Then 0. Again. You guys recognize that melody? It's the Force theme from Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
And that's literally all there is to it. It's really that simple. Now the one thing tablature doesn't give you is rhythm, so you can't know. There are forms of tab that try to give you rhythm as well, but that's not what this is. A lot of tabs just like this. And so using tablature, the best use of tablature is really when you're using it with songs that you know, or songs that you can play and get familiar with, and then use this as basically just to tell you, okay, where do I put my fingers? Okay, that's what tablature is really good for. So let's just go through this first line, and then what I want you guys to do is just take this home and try to get through that first two lines on your own. Just like practice reading it. And if you're not familiar with this theme, just look up Star Wars Force theme, and you'll be able to find it easily. Okay, so we're just going to go one note at a time. So that 0, remember, it's as if you're looking at the guitar like this. So that 0 is not there, but it's this D string, okay? So everybody hit that? And then the next one. 2. Good. And then up, and we'll just go 3, 5. And back to 3. And then another open D. Good. And then again. And 2, 3. Good. Good. And then 3. Open. Jump up to 7. And then 5. Okay? So were you guys able to, you guys at least understand what's going on? And even if you couldn't find it quickly, you kind of get the concept, right? Any questions about that? If there's any questions, please ask. No? We good? Okay. So that, I would like you guys to kind of look at those first 2 lines, and then next week I would like to put this with some chords and try to, this is actually a really cool melody with the chords. It works really, really well. Especially when you get to the Our D's were kind of weird. So that second line is more challenging, but it's a really good melody. And then one thing we'll discuss is, you probably, if you were, I don't know if you noticed, my guitar's kind of hidden, but there are different places to play the same note on the guitar. So what this has is, and then it has you, or I could go, and keep everything right here instead of, I can go. So instead of doing 7, 5, I can go to the B string and write 3, 1. Okay? And all that is a matter of preference. A lot of time with tablatures, I'll see inefficient fingering, stuff like that. It's not the best, most ergonomic way to play. But sometimes you do want that because this sound is different than, this is a lot brighter than this. So if you really want to get emotion out of something, playing on a thicker string, you can usually do more with that than a thinner string, right? So there are reasons why you would want to do things on a string, but the rule that we need to go by is whatever's going to make it sound best. So if this is too hard for us to make it sound smooth, even though we like the warm character of it, it would be better to play it down here if it sounds nice and connected, and not choppy or something. That's just an example. So all of these things are stuff that you guys will learn by osmosis as you kind of practice and do these things. You're going to find little things like that. Okay? So practice those 2 lines, and yeah, we'll do that. Okay, last week we looked at scales, and I was really excited because I wanted to do that sort of exercise where we kind of, as a class, do our scales together, and maybe do like a round where we play at different tempos and kind of make some what's called counterpoint music, which is basically just when you have 2 different music playing independently of one another, 2 different melodies, but they go together. So I'd like to do that. So we looked at the major scale. Do you guys remember what the fingering, the pattern that I gave you was? Go ahead and tell me.
Okay, on the G string, it's 1, 3.
1, 3. Yep.
And on the B string, it's 1, 2, 4,
Yep. 1, 2, 4.
and then on the E string, it's 1, 3, 4.
Right. Yep. So, and we talked about how these. We talked about how these dashes are frets that we skip, right? So, if we start this on the 2nd fret, this is our 1st finger, we'd skip the 3rd fret, and our 3rd finger would go on the 4th fret, right? And with this pattern, not all patterns are like this, not all scale patterns are like this. Some patterns you have to shift between strings, but this one you don't. I'm gonna rewrite that so it lines up better. Your 1st finger is always, every time you switch strings, it's gonna be on the same fret you start on. So if you start the scale on the 2nd fret, when you go down to the B string, your 1st finger is gonna be on the 2nd fret. And then when you go down to the E string, your 1st finger is gonna be on the 2nd fret, right? And the thing I want you guys to remember is that this is a pattern. This whole thing can be moved anywhere on the guitar as long as you stay on these strings and keep this pattern of fingers. So let's just do a couple of things to make sure we have it. If I start this 1st finger on the 5th fret, where would my 3rd finger go? Good. Mm-hmm. 6, right?
8.
8, good. 5 again, right? Skip a fret.
7, 8.
8. Right, good. So let's do this. Let's do this on the 5th fret, actually. And what I'd like you guys to do is let's go ahead and do multiple strikes per note. Let's do 4, so 2, 3, 4. Does that make sense? Okay, let's do that. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. Good. So let's do that one more time. Sounds like we've gotten a little out of tune. Can I hear E strings, high E strings? So bring that one up in pitch. So it's this one right here. Yeah, so twist it well, so twist it like this. There you go. Good. Let's go to the next string. Same direction, just a little bit. Good. Next string. Just a little bit. No, it's pretty close. A little more. Close enough. Good. 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 I think you're really close. A little more. Perfect. Yeah.
And do the B.
Yeah. A little more. Good. And then the G. playing, so it's funny, the lower the notes are, the easier it is for them to sound in tune. The higher the note is, the faster the frequency is, and the more it'll stick out. It's really fascinating sciences like the all that stuff. Okay, let's do this from 5th fret again. Same thing. 1, 2, ready, go. Sure on that last one it's 5th fret, 7th fret with the 3rd finger, and pinky. There we go. Good job. Good job. So this is the major scale, the do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do from Sound of Music. That's what this is. So what I'd like to do now is to you guys are gonna do the same thing, but you guys are all gonna start it. And then I'm going to join in a little bit later. You guys are going to keep going, and we're going to experiment with doing some layering. So I'm going to play the exact same scale, but just start it later, okay? So those will just be the 4 of you, and then I'll join in. 1, 2, ready, go. So, you can see what we had there was harmony that worked really well together. Did you guys hear that?
Mm-hmm.
And this is, if we can understand scales, then we can pretty much understand how music works in most cultures, but especially the West. So let's do that one more time. We'll try to play out a little more too. One of the things we want to do, especially as we're starting out, is resist the urge to play a quiet instrument quiet. Guitar is already a very quiet instrument, and we can be a little shy and timid. I'm not afraid of wrong notes. You don't need to be afraid of them either. Play your wrong notes loudly, proudly, and we will fix them so that they become right notes. But don't be afraid to make mistakes. It's kind of a paradox. When we're afraid to make mistakes, we'll make mistakes. That's just how it's going to be. So let's try to don't be afraid. No one's going to make fun of you or anything like that. And if I look at you and I say that finger, don't get offended or anything. We're learning. Like I said earlier when we first started this class, that's what this is about. Let's try it one more time. Nice and loud. 1, 2, ready, go. Good. So now what we're going to do is that same thing, but we're going to shift afterwards. So what we've been doing is on the 2nd fret, or sorry, 5th fret. After we get done with that, we're going to go to the next 6th fret. Okay? And what this does is it gets us used to doing the patterns, thinking in patterns, because we really need to start doing that on guitar, and not being stuck to like a dot, right? Because now if you have a bunch of dots like this guitar does, you could rely on, okay, first finger on that dot, third finger on that dot, but now you can't do that because we're going to be in between the dots. So that's what we're going to do. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Great, let's try it. Same thing.
Are we going back up the scale before we shift? Like going backwards? Or just end and then start on the 6th?
You know, let's do that, but let's do this and get used to having to go from the E string back up
Okay.
to the G
Yep.
string, and then we'll do some run throughs by going back down the scale. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. Now, 6th fret. Good, good. So you guys get the concept, the pattern. Very, very nicely done. Now, in addition to going up the scale, as was just brought to our attention, we can go back down the scale. That's the top. That's the octave. Okay. That note we end on is called the octave. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then we come back down. So we're just going backwards. And this scale is not too hard to do that, but it can be a little weird because you're switching directions, and that can just throw us a little bit. Minor scale is much harder to go down because you have a shift. These two strings, you strike your first finger over instead of on the first one. We'll learn the minor scale probably before the night's out. We'll learn the minor scale too. Okay, so let's do on the 5th fret, going up and then coming back down. Okay, same thing, and I'll wait to play after you guys so we get a little harmony too. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. Back down to 3. To 1. One. Good. Nice job, guys. Very good. So, what about how we use scales to make us better guitarists? If you have a pick, how many of you are using picks? What, Lone Ranger over here. There's a couple of things that you can do if you guys are using picks for using scales to help you with your technique. One is you can practice just doing simple downstrokes at a faster tempo. So just instead of going, it's pretty easy tempo, but if you wanted to double that, like something like that, or you could, and then you can speed that up a lot more. And go even faster if you want. And then the other thing is alternating picks, strokes up and down. that too. And the reason why it's good is because you're working your left hand, focusing on your tips, and you're also working on controlling that motion. Because it's one thing to strum all the strings. It's another thing to have to control that pick and keep it just on one string. It's a really small motion. So now if you're using your fingers, usually what we do when we're playing scales with our fingers is we'll use these two fingers, our I and our M finger, and we'll alternate those. So you can go just like that. So instead of doing our thumb or one finger at a time, we want to learn to alternate our fingers whenever we're playing with our fingers, not just one finger. So another thing you can do both with picks and with fingers, you would just apply it to what you're doing, is what's called speed burst. Percussionists do this all the time. When you hear like a drum line warm up, they'll go. And this is really good for us to get our muscle memory going and to just get our accuracy up. So you can do the same thing with the scale. 1, 2, 3, 4. And when you shift, go twice as fast. And then go down like that. So you don't have to go twice as fast 3 different times like I did, or 4 different times. You can just do it twice as fast once. And so you can just go 1, 2, 3, 4, da 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 da. And you go back down and just alternate between the two. And that's a good way for you to get used to playing fast and controlled. Okay. The tendency is whenever we speed up, is everything in our bodies tense up, and then so we got to learn to play relaxed when we're going faster. Okay. Any questions about that? All right. Let's go to let's do the minor scale. So same thing, G, B, and E. And we're going to start on the same, we'll start on the 5th fret. But instead of going 1, 3, and then going to the next string, you're going to go 1, 3, 4. Okay? Right. So everybody just do that much. 1, 3, 4. Good job. Make sure you're using that 3rd finger and then that 4th finger. Yep. Good. Good. All right. So now, when you go to your 1st finger on the next string, on the B string, you're going to go to the fret up from it. So it's actually going to, if you're starting on the 5th fret, on the B string, you're going to the 6th. And you do 1, 3, 4 again. So it's 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4, but you shift. Good, good. Nice job, guys. So, sounds like you got these scales down pretty well. So, whenever we're doing the minor scale, it is harder to keep track of when we're shifting. So when we do that exercise where we're starting and then going up to the next one. With the minor scale, you have to remember that you start the scale where you had shifted to. It's not that hard to do it if you're just going up, but coming back down, that's when it gets kind of tricky. So as you practice that, this is going to be the harder one to do that on, okay? All right, any questions on scales or anything like that? Good. Let's go to get back, and we're going to try and play through the verse and the chorus without, the goal is to just get through the whole thing, the verse and the chorus without having to stop. So we'll start by going over the chorus because that's where that funky rhythm thing is. So last week we talked about another option for this pattern for these chords. So just as by way of review, when we see the A, we're playing two notes. Remember, we're playing two strings at a time, and we're kind of doing this blues thing. So first finger on the second fret, and we do two strums, all down strums, and we're playing on our open A string, and then our D string, we have our first finger on the second fret. So 1, 2, and then on 3, put our third finger down on the fourth fret, and then go back to 1. So it sounds like this. And you just play that over again. So everybody do that for a while. I want to see you guys do that. That's every time we see A, that's what we're doing. And then we go to the D. So it's the same thing, you're doing two strings, but you're just going down. You're doing your open D and your G string. All you're doing, if you watch my finger, for the A, these two, and then for the D, this first finger down, and then you're doing these two. Yeah. And then the same thing with on beat 3, you're putting the finger down on the 4th fret. There's just 2 more chords. There's 2 more chords, and what I'd like you guys to. The first time we did this, I taught you the way that we could do that chord if we kept this same sort of orientation. But it's easier, and I think it sounds better if we do for the G. All you need to do is put your 3rd finger or 2nd finger, sorry, on the 3rd fret of your low E string. That's the only finger you need. That's it. Just this one finger. And you're gonna strum, and you actually want this finger to lay across your A string so it mutes it. So now when I say lay across, you can still be on your tip, but just it's okay if it's touching it. So you don't need your 1st finger down. You just need your 2nd finger. That's it. It's just this. So I'm not using. All I'm doing is my 2nd finger, and I'm strumming these 3 strings, but this string's not sounding because. Yep, that's it. Okay, but you're only hitting it once. So on the rhythm of this is how this sounds. Okay, after this G, then you're just going to go 1st finger on the 2nd fret, and you're going to strum those 3 strings. Just those top 3 strings. And that's it. So this is what it sounds like. We have to get back, get back, get back. It's a little long. See, that's all that's there for is just. Yep. So let's work on that part. Everybody play that G chord. Place we're going to play. That's the only place we're going to play the D chord like that. Every other time you see it, it's going to be this way. Okay? But for right there, we're going to play the D chord like that. Does that make sense? Okay. Let's try it together. We'll do it real slow. Let's do this together. I'll count us off. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So that's the rhythm. It's just you have straight 4s throughout the So those are twice as long, okay? So if I kept that, if I was subdividing and I kept that going, it would be 1, 2, 1, 2. You see how it takes up 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, so it's just twice as long. Let's try it again. 1, 2, ready, get back. Get back. Get back to where you belong. Okay, so let's start in the get back where we once belonged and then go into that, okay? So get back. Let's see, how are we gonna start with that? Actually, let's just start from the second get back. We'll just do that. And then go into, here we go. 1, 2, 3, get back. Get back to where you once belong. G, D. Good, that was better. Let's try it again. Same thing. 1, 2, 3, get back. Get back to where you once belong. Nice. Yeah, is it starting to make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, good job. Okay, let's do that like 4 or 5 more times, and then we'll push the tempo a little bit. Same thing. 1, 2, 3, get back. Get back to where you once belong. Okay, a little bit of a mess, but that's okay. 1, 2, 3, get back. Get back where you once belong. Try it again. 1, 2, 3, get back. Get back to where you once belong. Go G. Okay, again. 2, 3, get back. Get back to where you once belong. There we go. Yeah. Okay, starting to get there. Let's do it again. 2, 3, get back. Get back to where you once belong. Good. It's just starting to come together. There's going to be finger twisting because we're going to want to sometimes when we shift to that D, what I'm noticing is a lot of times we want to use our second finger and we forget we got to go to that D first. So that's normal. Just repetition is going to fix it. Let's do this just a couple more times and then we'll try to do the whole start at the verse. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, get back. Get back to where you once belong. Nice. That was good. That was good. One more time. 1, 2, 3, get back. Get back to where you once belong. Nice. That was great. Okay, let's start. Same tempo. Start at the verse. So we're gonna do 4. We're gonna do 4 measures of down strumming on A before the singing starts. Okay, so we'll go 1, 2. Sorry, 1, 3. Yeah, sorry. Okay, yeah. 4 measures. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just like that. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Clear as mud or clear as muddy water?
I get it.
Clear as water with a little lemon in it? Like getting progressively better. Where are we at? Muddy water, water with lemon, or water?
Water with lemon.
Water with lemon. Okay. Okay. A lot of lemons.
And some seeds.
That's
With
yeah.
salt.
Here we go. Do it 4 times. Ready, go. 1, 2, 3. we made it through that. Now we just gotta like polish it and get it musical. So let me explain what that means. So to play music, there's a lot of joy in learning and being like, oh, I know how to do this now. Being able to go home and show your friends and loved ones, oh, look what I can play. There's a lot of joy in that. But music is really at its height whenever you can play music in a musical way. Because it's not just about playing the notes right. It's about a lot more than that. And this song has one place that really sticks out, and it's that. Right? Because those are accents. So we want to bring that out. So here's an example. If we do get back, get back to where you once belonged. If I do it like that, that has a sound. I played the notes right, whoop-de-doo. Or I could do, get back to where you once belonged. And just like that little bit makes it more fun. It's funner to play, it's funner to listen to. It's so what do I mean by being musical? Well, there's something called dynamics. Who knows what that, when we say dynamics in music, what do we mean?
No, when I hear it, but I can't really describe it that well.
Softer, louder,
Softer, louder.
faster,
That, yeah.
quieter.
That's it. Yeah, it's basically, so dynamics, piano is a dynamic, and it means soft. Forte is a dynamic, it means loud. So one of the easiest and most effective ways to do music is use dynamics. Okay, and one of the quintessential ways that you can change contrast, or you can contrast in music, is when you have, like if this was instrumental, and you had this dun 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 dun, just that simple part of the melody in the chorus. Well, if you played the first one loud, bum bum, 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 the response is quieter, right? So these are things that you'll hear when you listen to like really good instrumental music. You listen to a Beethoven symphony or some really, really killer jazz. You'll notice that that's what they're doing. They're giving you the same line, but they do it in a different way. On the guitar, one of the most effective things we do, so let's see. Is to change not just our volume, so we can go like that. But you can also go and change the timbre of it. And timbre is just, if I play close to the saddle, it sounds really thin. If I play over the sound hole, it sounds warmer. So when we start combining all of those things, there's other things, but those are some of the basic things that we can use to make stuff sound musical. And just because you guys are starting out doesn't mean you shouldn't experiment with that stuff. In fact, you should, because it'll make your playing a lot more fun if you do that. So as you're learning these notes, experiment with strumming or playing close to the saddle and over the sound hole, or even over the bridge, or the soundboard. Fretboard. One of those words, yeah. And it's a lot of fun. Okay, let's go through this a couple more times from the beginning. How are you guys feeling about it? Is it starting to come together? Are you starting to feel comfortable with it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's sounding good to me. It's looking like you guys are getting it. Okay, so we'll do it about, okay, do it 4 measures and then we'll get into it. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. The D. how did you guys do that time? A little bit better. Sounded really good.
Messed up. I don't know. I was on the D and nobody else was. I was like, where am I? I don't know why I'm the only one on a D. So I just paused and waited to everyone to catch up to me.
That's the right thing to do. Good performance practice there. Let's do this one more time. So when we're, I did hear people going to D's, not just you, a little early. And so let's figure this out. So it's Jojo was a man, thought he was alone, and then we switch. So it's 4. So it's 4 measures.
Okay.
Okay. So that's 16 down strums. If you want to go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4. The D. And the D is half as long. Okay, so the D is 8 down strums. The A is 16 down strums.
Okay.
I would not recommend counting to 16 though. I would just do 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4, D, 2, A, 2, and then it starts over again. Okay, let's try that. We go. We'll do the intro again, and that's 4 measures. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. Okay, hold on. Make sure. I'm hearing some people play this, the B. So make sure you're on that. Your second finger, your first finger, is only going to be on the 2nd fret, but it's on the 2 middle strings. Okay, the D string and the. Did I say D string? D string and G string. Okay, those 2 strings. Okay. Let's try that again. Same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, sounds good. I'm still hearing some of that B, so let's make sure that we're doing it on these 2 internal strings, okay? So if you get lost, if you get confused, okay, which one do I put my finger on for the A? Well, you should have 2 empty strings above it. And then for the D, you should have 2 empty strings below it. Okay, and that's a good way that you can remember to do it. And you're only going to strum the strings that your finger's on, and the 1 string above it. Okay? And like I said, if you get this down, this opens up a world of other songs for you. You could play old time rock, the Led Zeppelin song, Been a Long Time, uses this. It's just much faster. But underneath it, you have the riff that's kind of going down a scale a little bit. But underneath that is just and it's this. It's the same thing. Okay. All right. So we're about out of time. So for next week, let's see if we can play through these first 2 lines, and then I'd like to put some chords with it, and we're going to spend some time on learning some more chords and learning to switch between them and put them with a melody. There's nothing quite as boring as just playing chords by yourself, especially when you're having a hard time getting them. So putting it with something else, like a melody, is a really good way to make chords a little more interesting. So that's for next week. We'll go over and get back a little bit more. But I think we've pretty much got that. And then we will look at another song as well. Any questions?
Nope.
No? Great job, guys. Thank you. That's good work.
Thank you.